Okay, hi everyone. My name's Randy Freeman. I grew up in a home where both my parents were alcoholics. Due to the dynamics that take place in a home like that, I was a very insecure child and carried that on into adolescence and into my life, basically. Just the insecurity of not trusting, not being able to express my feelings and live a normal, quote, normal life. The biggest mistake I made is when I was 14 years old, at the urging, however light it was, of some friends. I tried alcohol myself, and that's an attention to the youth group here. I was 14, and it was peer pressure and my friends that got me started. But the issue with me was, because of my insecurities and because of the way I felt, alcohol worked for me. It made me feel okay, it made me comfortable, it made me confident, and it solved a lot of the problems that I had carried with me into my teen years. And I can tell you for a fact that from that day on, from the first day I drank alcoholically every time I drank after that. And I drank for 18 years, became a married man with 3 kids. All the junk that went along with that type of lifestyle I carried from my youth into my adulthood with my wife and with my children. So basically, for 18 years I drank alcoholically, did all the things that happens in that type of lifestyle, stayed out late a lot of times, never came home a lot of times, was gone 2 or 3 days at a time. My wife didn't know where I was, my kids didn't know where I was. So I know they were feeling all the insecurities and the feelings that I felt as a young person also. The last time I drank was really no different than all the other times that I had drank. I got off work and stopped to drink and stayed out way late and didn't go home. The only thing different about this one was I woke up at 7:30 in the morning on a friend's couch, and immediately when I woke up, I knew that that was it, that I was done, that I could never drink again. I knew that I had to quit. I was able to see my life in full perspective for the first time that morning. I had no idea why, but I went home fully convinced that I had to do something. And my wife was up, and I said, Patty, if I make some phone calls and get myself checked into a treatment center, will you help me get there? And she said yes. So I made some phone calls to some friends who I knew were in recovery that I had drank with for years. And by sunset that day, I was checked into an inpatient treatment facility in Utah, where I spent the next 35 days. And I can honestly say that since that day, which is January 28th, 1984, I have not had the desire to drink. It was removed on that morning. I had no idea why. I really didn't understand. And later on in my recovery, Patty told me that that night, that last night that I drank, she had prayed to God to give her the strength to take the kids and leave me. And so it was, wow, now I know. Now I understand why when I woke up that morning, it was so clear in my mind that I had to quit and what I had to do. It was because God answered a prayer, my wife's prayer. It maybe really had nothing to do with me, but it meant that she didn't have to raise 3 kids on her own. And it was God working through that. And another thing that happened at that time is the next day, my parents, who had been alcoholics for decades, put down the drink and never picked it up again. My dad died probably 5 or 6 years ago. He died sober. My mom's 85, hasn't had a drink since that day. So it's absolutely God's grace and unearned gift that morning to where I was able to see my life for what it was becoming. And I made a decision, and God took a desire away from me that I had lived with for so long. And the same thing happened for my parents. So, you know, we never know when God is going to answer someone's prayer through us, or use us to affect other people's lives, like it happened with my parents. So it's just a story, just a tiny bit, and it's totally about a gift that I received that I didn't even ask for. Now, yesterday morning, I was able to spend a few hours in my granddaughter Paige's 2nd grade class helping the kids bake bread. Now, I'm telling you, had God not have moved in my life almost 30 years ago today, that would have never been possible. So my primary goal is to remain grateful for that gift that I received then, and to just continue to serve God as much as I can. And I don't do too many things right, but I try to just remain forever grateful for that gift.